everybody, welcome back to the channel and another What's in the Box. Now this week is going to be a bit slightly different, but it's a video I tend to make on an annual basis, but I hope you don't get too bored with it. But before we get into that, I've got a couple of bits of post that I received. Now a big thank you to M Collects, who contacted me a week or so back to ask about some trading card swaps I had, one of which was the EEC gold edged presidency coin. There was a couple others I had for swaps, and he had two that I needed. One, as you can see, Olympic Wrestling, and the 2018 Peter Rabbit. So I think I'm down to just needing 13, I think. So a big thank you to M Collects for doing the swap. And the second thing I got was this, the £5 coin for the police. Now, I did touch on this slightly last week, and I said it was the worst coin to date of the Music Legends set, and I still stand by that. I mean, if you take away the name there, the police, you probably wouldn't know which band it is. But this is to celebrate the 40 years since the album Synchronicity was issued, and was their last studio album. Now, I think these figures here are supposed to represent Stuart Copeland, the drummer. I don't know what on earth he's supposed to be wearing there. I think Mr. and Mrs. Snappy said he looks like Jeremy Toadboy with that bit there. And the other two, we don't know whether this is Andy Summers and Sting or the other way around. But anybody that runs sort of like that, I've only seen running like that in comics, probably do your hamstring, your legs nearly around your neck. Now the coloured version, these three little stripes here are all different colours, yellow, blue and red, which is part of the Synchronicity album colours. That's all it is. That's the only bit that's different on the colourised version. That is definitely one I'm not getting, but I will be getting the bunk pack of this one, because as a completionist I've got to have all of the Music Legends set. Now, they got the name The Police. Apparently Stuart Copeland, who is American, his father worked for the CIA, but when asked what his dad did, they used to say, oh, he just works for the police. So it sort of stuck in his head. So when the other band members came, I think there was also a Henry Padovani. I think he only played on maybe one album, maybe. So they were originally a 4-piece, but Andy Summers wanted it down to a 3-piece, which he got his wish in the end. And Sting got his nickname. Apparently he was in some sort of jazz band, not the jazz band with the kazoos. And he used to wear a jumper that was sort of hooped, black and yellow, and one of his bandmates said he looked like a bee or a wasp. So that's how he got the nickname Sting. And of course we've got the Martin Jennings portrait on the obverse. I'll just put that down there. And just zoom out, because we did get a trading card as well. Now, for the last two I've had the gold-edged presidency coin. Come and make it a hat-trick. Ooh, looks like the D-Day one. And I do have the set of the gold-edged cards, so if anybody can do a swap, I'll be forever grateful. So issue 1994. Obverse designers Raphael McClure. Circulated mintage 6,705,520. I haven't scratched the key fact off. I'm not really bothered, to be honest, because this week So I'll just move all these off the mat, because today what I'm going to be looking at is the Royal Mint's annual report for the period 2022 to 2023. Now this came out about a week or so back. I've been checking sort of nearly every day because it came out July last year as well, and it must have come out just after last week's What's in the Box was issued. So anyway, each yearly report goes from the 1st of April of one year to the 31st of March of the following year. So unless I state otherwise, we're primarily looking at the period 1st of April 2022 to the 31st of March 2023. Now, it might be better viewed on a PC or a laptop, as mobile phone screens might be rather small to see the more minute details. Now, I'm no chartered accountant, although I did pass an accounts banking exam way back in the late 80s, but I'd just like to go through these reports as it does provide some interesting info, especially pointed towards some mintage figures, which I'll go through a little bit later. So you can actually view the reports yourselves if you want to. You can go to royalmint.com, and then on the heading where it says Discover, if you click on that, and then there's a bit that says Corporate, and underneath that it says Annual Reports, and it does go back a few years. So one of the first things you'll see in the report, in the chairman's statement, and I've highlighted a sentence which is a bit of relevance. Now this states, we appreciate that the way people are using coins is changing and that coin usage is decreasing. And we're realistic about what that means for the Royal Mint. Our historic core mission remains to ensure the availability of circulating UK coins, but alongside that our plan to transform our business is proving a success. Now, we do know that coin usage has been declining over years as more people use contactless, etc. So if you keep that in mind, as we'll touch on this a little bit later on in the video. So how did the Royal Mint do? Well, the total revenue they made in the period 2022 to 23 was 1,878.2 million. So on the financial results summary, you can see where the revenue was made. So the precious metals division, that's like gold, silver, platinum, that's the most profitable division, with consumer, which includes like commemorative coins and collective divisions, the next best at 149.2 million. Now currencies, mainly coins and blanks issued for other countries, but for the operating profit and loss section, the currency made a loss of 13.1 million. Predictable really, as it was mainly due to the way the world's moving away from using physical cash, most notably coins. Now the consumer section contributed 29.8 million, driven mainly by a historic year where we saw a change in monarch for the first time in 70 years. Now 9 million was invested in a new plant. Now that's going to be the first in the world to bring a pioneering green technology that recovers gold from discarded electronic devices such as mobile phones and laptops, bringing that to like an industrial level. Now the plant was due to open earlier 2023, but it looks like it's actually going to be pushed back to later in the year. And the recovered gold is made into jewellery for the Royal Mint 886 jewellery range, and apparently they opened their first shop somewhere in London fairly recently. Now the RM Wind Limited, now that actually relates to the wind turbine that generates green energy for the Royal Mint, and this broke even in the reporting period, which is why it shows 0. Now the Royal Mint experience generated 0.1 million and attracted 51,044 visitors in the past year. Obviously that's between 1st of April 22 and 31st of March 2023. Now that's probably mainly down to Christopher Collect's Grossi and Bo going on a regular basis, but that only equates to like 140 visitors a day. That's presuming that the mint was open every day, which it wasn't. Now I think this figure is pretty low considering we had the Harry Potter strike your owns, the Queen's Memorial strike your own, and I believe was Edward Jenner strike your own as well. So I think that is quite a low figure. Now the bit that says IFRS 9, it actually stands for International Financial Reporting Standards. It just specifies how an entity, in this case the Royal Mint, should classify and measure financial assets, financial liabilities, and some contracts to buy or sell non-financial items. So the total profit before tax is 12.9 million, and the group financial summary states 2.7 million was paid in tax, so final profit after tax is 10.2 million, and the total net assets increased to 80.6 million. All boring stuff to many, but I mean I found it quite interesting, but not as interesting as the next two segments of the annual report. So what we're going to look at here is the UK coins that were actually issued into circulation for the period 1st of April 2022 to 31st of March 2023. Now that should not be confused with mintage figures, which is a little bit different. Now, to get a better understanding of the latest number of pieces issued for circulation, I'm going to go back through the previous 4 years. So in 2018 to 2019, there was 632 million pieces. There was no 1p, 2p or £2 issued for circulation, but a huge amount of £1 coins, 290 million. Now 107 million 50p's were issued, the start of the 122 million minted in 2019 perhaps. Loads of 5p's too, and we'll just shove this bit up to the top left. And we'll move on to 2019-20, where there was 590 million pieces issued. Again, no 2p issued. Now the 3 million £2 coins had many thinking, incorrectly, that it was the VE Day coin that was put into circulation. But in fact, it was probably part of some of the 2016 coins that were still in the Royal Mint long store, like the Shakespeare sets, Great Fire of London, the Britannias. Moving on to 2020-21, we saw 437 million pieces. Now this time saw no £1 coins issued into circulation, probably due to the 347 million that was entering circulation in the previous 2 years. Again, more £2 coins, but no New Year's, despite the 6,045,000 Britannias that were minted in 2021. A statement in late 2020 from the Royal Mint said no 2p or £2 will be minted for 10 years, which has proved to be incorrect. 21-22, 339 million pieces, the first period in a while where all denominations had pieces issued into circulation. Again, the 10 million £2 coins were probably all stock of 2016 commemorative and definitive coins. And as you can see, year on year, the number of pieces put into circulation have reduced, but get ready for a shock. 2022 to 23, only 56 million pieces issued into circulation, vast majority being £1 coins. No 1p, 2p or £2 coins again, and only a very small number of the lower denominations issued. So that shows how much we're using less cash and more on contactless, but this represents a decrease of 91.14% of coins issued in 2022-23 as opposed to 2018-19. Absolutely ridiculous. But remember, going back to the chairman's statement, they more or less said that they were going to ensure that there were still sufficient stocks of coins in circulation. So what we're going to look at now is mintage figures for the 50 pences, but one coin in particular, and that is the Platinum Jubilee. Now this is just going to be a theory I've got, so don't take it as gospel, but I don't know, it's got to be there or thereabouts. I mean, a couple of years ago, Everybody was trying to keep the diversities. And in the report, it did actually say that there had been 10 million issued, which I did point out in, I think it might have been in one of Grossie's live streams. And ever since then, everybody went and put them back into circulation because it wasn't worth keeping. So if we quickly look back at the screen that had the number of pieces that went into circulation, we could see that there was 13 million 50 pences put into circulation between the period 1st of April 22 to 31st of March 2023. Now, in the previous year's annual report, it did actually state there that there was 1.3 million pieces of the Platinum Jubilee that actually went into circulation. Now, there was also 7,000 of these coins that were actually given to school children who were participating in the Queen's Green Canopy Initiative. Now, I don't know whether that 7,000 was included in the 1.3 million, but for this purpose, I'm not going to include it. Now, this is just a theory I've got, so if you can just bear with us. So, start off with the circulated 50 pences, millions of 13. Now, information that we have already been given, whether it is correct or not, but it has come from official sources, is that the Pride coin mintage was 5 million. And that is how many have been put into circulation, despite quite a lot being seen in hunts, etc. So if we take the 5 million off the 13, that leaves us with 8 million. Now, in this year's annual report, it also states that there was 6.7 memorial coins issued into circulation in the period up to the 31st of March this year. So if we take that 6.7 off, that leaves us with 1.3 million. Now, we also knew that there was a second tranche of the Platinum Jubilees issued later in 2022 of 1 million. So again, if we take that off, that just leaves us with 0.3 million. Now, with the Queen's passing in September of last year, I very much doubt there was any more Platinum Jubilees minted. So what we've left with is the 2.3 million, and then we've got this other 0.3 million, which we don't know what that relates to. Could it be another 0.3 million of Platinum Jubilees? So if that is the case, we've only got 2.6 million Platinum Jubilees. Now, I'm reckoning no more than 3, but 2.6 will be quite a good figure to have. And even the memorial coins, I mean, we were supposed to have been told that there was going to be 9.6 million of those. But if the 6.7 is going to be the final figure, or it could be that this other 0.3 might be other memorial coins, I don't know. But my theory is that the Platinum Jubilee is going to be no more than 3 million. I don't know what you guys think. Be interesting to see your thoughts or your comments down below. Now, if you saw the £2 coin hunt from Saturday, you'll know that I did have one bag short. Now, thankfully, I'd gone back to the bank on the Monday following when I originally picked the coins up. They did confirm that they were £20 over, so I did get me £20 back, and I also got me the £2 fake changed as well. No, I think it was Ian Ritchie commented, it's a wonder I didn't take the £2 down to Greggs to buy a sausage roll. But strangely, I did get an email from YouTube creators, and it actually says that I've got a free sausage roll. Meat or vegan. Don't think I'll be going for the vegan. So that'll be interesting, isn't it? So I got a freebie of a sausage roll from YouTube creators. So anyway, that's it for this week. Sorry it's been a bit lengthy, but I hope you've you understood where I was coming from with regards to those mintage figures, and it will be interesting to see the actual final results when they're posted later this year. Hopefully it won't be as late as December as it was last year. I mean, the Platinum Jubilees were supposed to have a mintage of 5,070,000 at the outset, but I think because of what's happened over the last year, most of those will have been probably melted down, I would suspect. Anyway, thank you for watching, and until the next time, keep on hunting, enjoy yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.